What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. A couple things that I wanted to start this video off with. I've had a few people hit me up regarding my previous video and why I should not have posted it, which I appreciate. They say some things are better left unsaid, or you should have made that video and then just, never published it, which, by the way, that happens a lot more than you think it does. But after I recorded the video yesterday talking about my apology, my frustrations with the haters, if you will, I just wanted to vent. I wanted to get some stuff that was on my mind out there, which is kind of part of the reason for my YouTube channel. It's not a traditional, professional YouTube channel, if you will. It's more of a... I was working on my roof today, by the way. I got some tar on me. But it's not a traditional video channel, if you will. I focus more on, making it the way I want to and not falling in line with, oh, this is how a YouTube channel is supposed to work. That's boring to me. I mean, I guess I could regurgitate YouTube channel stuff that everyone talks about every day, but I don't want to do that. I don't. And if you want that, you already know there's like a million places you could go for it. So anyways, you're probably wondering why the hell I'm revisiting this. Some of you might already know, but I made the video yesterday and I was like, hey, why do I get so much hate? I get it. I have opinions, and as Top Loaded Gaming says, you have opinions on the internet and you're going to automatically draw hate because someone's going to disagree with you. And I definitely agree with that. But I wanted to try to, not a peace offering, but find a middle ground with the people that aren't haters, the people that are actually rational human beings that look at me like I'm a complete douchebag. Because you know what? Honestly, I watch some of my videos and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cringy. I'm working on that. It's not easy to talk to the camera and not come off douchey when you're trying to be entertaining and interesting. That is a delicate balance and something that I feel like I keep making YouTube videos, and that ironically is something that I always focus on, and I feel like it ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not, but whatever. So the people that responded to the video yesterday, they reached out to me saying I shouldn't have posted it. It just gave the haters more energy and justified their hatred for me, empowered them, made them feel like they were right, and is going to increase it tenfold to me. And if I'm letting them get to me now, then it's going to destroy me in the long term. I don't care. Like, outside of the haters that keep doxing me and calling my job and trying to ruin my life and talk about where my kids go to school and talk about where my wife works and my wife and I and how our financial situation, like, those are the people that can go fuck themselves. Like, holy shit, there's a problem. Like, go get help. Those aren't the people I want to address in this video, though. Because those people, like I said, they're going to always be there, and I don't let them affect me. I wanted to vent a little bit, but it doesn't affect me. What kind of does get to me, and this is, I feel like, just being honest, is the people that I feel like are rational people. The people that are just like me, that see me, and are like, oh no, that guy's a douchebag. Those are the people that I'm trying to make a connection with and say, hey, I've screwed up a lot, okay? And I feel like that's the first step in overcoming your fault, is admitting that you have the fault in the first place. But these people that make rational arguments as to why they hate me or why I suck or why they won't watch me is fair. It's fair criticism. And I want to show you guys a few things that was said to me. We'll start with one of the comments I got. This is from Jake Lloyd. No one cares that you fell for Tommy's lies. The problem is that you made this personal and personally attacked other people about this. It's awful that you made videos accusing someone who disagreed with you that they were defrauding people on GoFundMe. and that they were faking their medical condition. That is hugely scummy, and yet you've never apologized for that in any of your many apology videos. It shouldn't be, I'm sorry I trusted too much. It should be, I'm sorry I let my investment in the company that I believed in get so twisted that I attacked other people's medical conditions and accused them of fraud. Stop deflecting. And if you really think that this is okay and nothing to apologize over, yikes. Okay. A fair opinion. Like, that's not something that I'm going to read that and be like, no, screw this guy. I'm like, no, you know what? You read comments from haters and they just go off you like water on a duck's back, you know? Sometimes you read something and you're like, nah, that sticks with you because there's some truth to it. There's some truth to it, and that's why it sticks to me. But I don't want to just fully be on, oh my God, I was so wrong about that, guys. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. No, I want to revisit this video because I honestly have not watched it since back when I published it. So I want to revisit this with removing the bias that I had of my frustration from in television and just watch it and see where I may have gone wrong with it and where I still agree with myself. Because I feel like, just like this comment, there's some things that are right and some things I disagree with. And I'm sure that's the same thing with my video, looking back in hindsight. I also received comments on the Intellivision Amico Reddit that, I mean, I gotta say, props to Intellivision Amico Reddit. They've been very cordial. The people, the mods are like, hey, are people harassing you? Tell me if it's coming from here, because I don't want that to happen. And I will tighten the, like, that's awesome. Thank you. I don't want you to tighten the moderation of the hatred, if you will. I want people to tell why they don't like me. I don't want people doxing or coming after my family or talking crazy stuff about, like, real life stuff that is no place, no how. Like, that's off limits, in my opinion, when it comes to talking about the Intellivision Amico. But when it comes to, hey, here's why I don't like him, no. I want to hear that from the people that are actually intelligent, that actually want to see me improve, that want to see me succeed, but just give up because of, like, I'm hopeless. No. Those are the people that I want to reach out to here. And if that ain't you, stop watching this, because I like, why, if you hate me so much, do you keep watching me? That's weird. Like, go play a video game or get professional help. There's a million things better to do than watch this video right now. But anyway, I replied to Tommy Poopy Pants. No, it's not specifically from here. Like I said in my vid, just people to give me a chance. Feel like too many folks have their minds made up that I'm an awful, horrible person because I made the mistake of trusting Tommy. Thanks for reaching out here, though. Means a lot. And F1 Midboss said, if you apologize for that horrible and wrong take on Ian, it would be a start for some of us to not see you as a terrible person. Thank you for that feedback. I don't think people here think you're a horrible person because you made the mistake of trusting Tommy. That just makes you incredibly gullible. Agreed, to a certain extent. I don't think I'm incredibly gullible. I think it's a very challenging position that I would challenge any of you to put yourself in my shoes when you're, like, crossing the lines of actually reporting on video game stuff and, I don't know, hanging out at a guy's house and chatting with him about life and other video games and making this bond. It's not as easy as you might think it is. I feel like it's I'd be a hater of me if I was on the outside looking in, which is funny because I'm me. I'm like, nope, it's a lot harder than you think. You're a horrible person because you made a video claiming that Ian was scamming people on GoFundMe and wanted his medical condition purely because you were mad that they were right all along and you were not. And that you have never apologized for that. The fact that you made this Amico regret personal is why people think you're horrible. All the Tommy stuff just shows that you're a rube. again, stuck with me. Because I'm like, I agree with some of it, disagree with some of it. But because I agree with some of it, and I feel like it's fair, more than fair, I wanted to talk about it here and just be real with you guys. So I got many other comments, a lot of support from people. And again, thank you guys for supporting me and being there for me. Appreciate it. I had a lot of people that said that I attacked everybody, and that's why they don't like me when the Amico things were going on. And I look back and I'm like, I would love specific examples so that I can talk about those. But I look back at all my older videos, and I mean, the Review Tech USA stuff I've already covered, apologized for, and moved on from that. The Pat and Ian videos I've already covered, apologized, and moved on from those. I mean, outside of this Ian one that I'm talking about in this video, obviously. I don't know about anyone else that I may have wronged or said things about that was personal. And that's my frustration, is not these people here. These people are actually very specific, and I appreciate that. But when people generalize and be like, oh, you just hated people when the Intellivision things were going on, and that's why I don't like you. It's like, please, give me specific examples of where your frustration, the root of it, where is it coming from? And let me try to acknowledge that if it's a realistic thing that I agree with you on. But anyways, I digress. Let's go through this Ian Ferguson, now officially a scammer, ? video. And again, I haven't watched this since back when I published it, so I don't really remember too much of it. I do remember I was very adamant about questioning it. And I feel like I was frustrated that so many people came at me for daring to question it, which I guess that brings up a whole psychological thing, a question. Are you not allowed to question things if you end up being wrong? But what happens, just trying full disclosure here, like both sides of the story, what happens if I questioned this and it brought up more questions and it actually led to Ian being exposed to being a complete fraud? Like, what happens if that happens? Then people would be like, yeah, good thing you made that video. So I feel like part of the problem of some of the stuff that I do is I try to get to the root of it without the end of the story already there. And when that happens, you're gonna shoot and miss sometimes. Like, I don't know how else to say it. But anyways, here we go.
What's going on, guys? It is the Shirtless Wonder here again.
Now, this was douchey on purpose, because they kept calling me the Shirtless Wonder. And again, I'll let the video play, but a couple things I got to say real quick here. It frustrates me a little bit that the same people that come at me for making these videos are perfectly fine with the jabs that Pat and Ian give to me, Review Tech USA, Retro Bro, everyone that they put jabs at, they're perfectly fine with it because it's funny, because it's kind of their shtick. But when I do it, it's not acceptable, so that's why I'm like, it's some inconsistency there.
Gotta live up to my name, right, Pat? Yes, we got a conversation to have, and actually this time it has not very much to do with Pat. It has to do with that other guy, Ian Ferguson, the second half, the lower tier on the CU podcast.
I will say too, Ian has said things about me, which I've covered in another video, to be specific, that he was flat out wrong about. And it frustrates me. This is one of the reasons I made this video. Is he says stuff about me that's just wrong, and nobody calls him out about it. And it just creates this stigma that I'm the asshole and that he's like flawless.
I just want to bring up a few things that are, I don't know, a little bit of a contradictory here and questionable. So, okay, Pat and Ian were right about the Intellivision Amico. And it kills me to say that because these guys are assholes.
Agreed.
Like,
Still.
both of them equally in their own right.
Which, by the way, I still think they're assholes. But assholes can be right. I feel like I say this in this video if I remember. But that's the frustrating thing. I'm like, people think I have a personal bias against hating them because they were right about the Amico and I'm like, no, they're still assholes. Like, I can remove my Amico thing and just look at them as how they talk about people and be like, no, they're assholes.
Complete assholes. But assholes can be right once in a while. You know, that's the annoying thing. But at least you got to accept the fact. When you're right, you're right. And you guys, you're right. The problem here is, though, there's what is this? We're going on like a 3-month, 4-month victory lap here, where they constantly keep saying, this isn't even our victory lap.
So this video is from 5 months ago. So now they're on the 5-month victory lap and still not saying that. What the last time they said they're a quarter of the way through their victory lap. Whatever. Have your fun, Pat.
This isn't even our final form. All right, guys. Like, you're letting your cockiness get to you just a little bit. So I'm here to bring you back down to earth.
Which, by the way, is a really cocky thing to say. That's so hypocritical. Hey, you guys are cocky, as I'm like being super cocky about it. Yeah.
Here's fair. Ian is extremely critical of Intellivision crowdfunding a console and making leaps that it was, we'll say, for lack of a better word, a way to take money out of people that don't know any better to put into the pockets of Tommy Tellerico and other higher-ups over at Intellivision. Fair? Fair.
Okay, so, yes, up to this point, I still agree if you are to take the position of he could potentially be scamming people. He could potentially not be giving all the information.
Then we have an interesting little thing that's transpired here. Brought up by Retro Bro, who reminded me of it, but I definitely saw it live and tried to bury it from my memory, but it happened. I believe 2017, January 2017, January 2018, something like that.
2017.
Where Ian was out of work because of back issues.
And I mean, it's a very hard topic to cover. If you're talking about someone's personal medical, you got the HIPAA laws, it's private stuff. It's a very sensitive topic to talk about someone's health conditions. And I shouldn't have been so flippant about it back when I first talked about this. But I still feel like I was just asking a question about it. And I feel like that question, just making this video in the first place, really set people off. Like, you don't go there. You don't talk about medical with people. You don't question that kind of stuff.
Or pain, or whatever. I don't know. Because the GoFundMe page that he had has been closed and ended with him taking nearly $30,000 from people wishing him well.
And you know what? I feel like that's well within his right to do. If he wants to run a GoFundMe, or somebody set it up for him, whatever. If that happens and he takes the money from it for a medical issue or whatever he was setting it up for, that's fine. Like, there's not a problem with that. I don't think I would have questioned it. I would have been like, okay, if it's like I always say in all my videos, it's your money. Do whatever the hell you want to do with it. My contention was he was throwing stones from a glass house when he was talking about Intellivision raising money for a fraudulent system, which, if they raised enough money and they had good management and they did things the right way, the console would have come out because they raised the money. It didn't. So he's able to take that angle of, oh, They're stealing, they're scammers, they're doing this, they're doing that because it didn't work for them.
And you know, here's the thing, like,
I'm probably gonna say the same thing right here. I do.
You do you, man.
This is the thing. I haven't seen this video for so long.
You gotta ask for money from people.
Hey, if nothing else, I'm consistent.
Okay, fair's fair. I just find it a little bit contradictory.
I was gonna say hypocritical, but contradictory.
When you run your own GoFundMe account and campaign for being sick or hurt, so you say, we'll take your word for that.
Just like we take the word for in television.
$30,000 for it. But then have the gall, the audacity, the fucking balls to go on the CU podcast and berate Tommy for doing a fundraising campaign.
So this is where I'll start to disagree with myself. He's berating Tommy for doing the crowdfunding, and he's right. Like, they were extracting more money out of people after extracting money out of people after extracting money out of people. Like, I think we were 3 or 4 fundraisers deep at this point, and he's calling Tommy out for it. And that's very different. And that's not fair of me to come at him. And I think that's where my bias started coming in right there, where I'm like, oh, you can do it, but Tommy can't do it. And I'm like, watching this now is a little cringe on my part, to be fair, about where I was wrong here.
Pain for the video game console. I'm struggling on where you draw the line ethically.
Probably when a company is continually extracting money out of people without producing anything. Relative to, I don't know, having a fundraiser for not feeling good and missing work. So yeah, I get it. This was a in poor taste video because I was frustrated about Ian.
Where it's okay for somebody at what point to do crowdfunding. But
again, to defend myself a little bit here, I'm like arguing pros and cons against myself while watching myself. If this isn't what's the word? If this is all about yourself, what's the word? The word for being all about your narcissistic. I remembered it before I got there. If this isn't narcissistic of myself doing this, I don't know what is. But I mean, if you're going to be on YouTube making videos, anything other than generic news on video games, you're going to be a little bit narcissistic. Every YouTuber is. That's something I've learned. Like, that's not a criticism to say someone's narcissistic on YouTube. It's a criticism if that's what defines them. If they're only all about themselves every time they make a video or talk about things, then it's a little bit too much.
But then for someone else, it's abhorrent. It's unethical, inhumane. You are a horrible snake oil salesman selling lies to people.
And I guess what I was going at with this is, why is it okay for you to fundraise for your medical issues, but not Tommy to fundraise for his fraudulent, now in hindsight, because nothing's come out yet, at this point, fraudulent company where nothing's been produced and they continually ask for money? What's the difference between that? We just have to take your word for it that you were raising money for your health. And I agree with the people that are mad at me for this and in this area here, where that's a leap for me to take. And I get that now. And for that, I'm sorry. But I'm not going to apologize for asking the question initially if it ended up turning out to be, yeah, this guy was actually doing the same damn thing Tommy was doing. The problem is, I didn't do any research on that. I didn't do any digging. I didn't do any follow-up. I didn't care. I was just mad. And that got me in trouble with this video.
Okay. So what if the Intellivision was a lie from the get-go? And Tommy created the FIG campaign and the Republic campaign just to swindle my $10,000 from me and $17 million from other unknowing folks.
More now, but yeah.
How's that different from people believing you that you're sick or hurt?
I feel like I can get why people are really angry at this. All I ask is to take a step back from being angry at me for asking the question and realize why I was asking the question and why I was on Tommy's side, frustrated that Pat and Ian were turning out to be right, and then seeing that he made almost 30 grand off of a GoFundMe for his health conditions or whatever it was. And I just wanted to turn the spotlight away from Tommy and point it on them. Put them on the hot seat for a minute and see how they felt, because that's what they were doing to Tommy. That was kind of my angle with this video.
And raising $27,000+ for your own personal benefit.
Oh, by the way, I see people laughing like, why is he wearing the Intellivision? I do this ironically. Okay? I do it ironically. I think I'm talking about the Intellivision, Miko. I think it's funny to wear the shirts while I talk about it. And I do want it to still come out. But I wear the shirts ironically because it's funny. Like, people take that way too seriously. I wasn't wearing that hat ironically here. I don't believe. I don't remember when it was where I was totally serious about it and when I switched over, but it was somewhere around this time.
And here we are, years later. No residual effects from what we can see. No issues, no problems. Everything's back to normal. And you got away scot-free with $27,000, dude.
So, again, not a fair comparison. It was more of the idea that I was comparing, not the amount of money. Do I regret making this video, which I'm sure people are going to ask? I do regret the angle I took with it because of my bias with it. I do. Do I regret making a video on this? No, I don't. I feel like there is a question here that could have been handled way fucking better. Okay? So that is where I think the gray area comes in with this. I'm not going to shy away from making controversial videos relating to the video game space. I enjoy talking about that kind of stuff. Controversy is interesting to me. I like to share my opinions on that kind of stuff. And yes, sometimes I'm wrong. Lately it seems more often than not, but you know what? Maybe I'm just putting more pressure on myself and being too critical on myself. Oh, okay. But I'm not going to shy away from talking about stuff that I want to talk about. And people that want to silence me because I shouldn't do that? Why? Why are you okay with silencing other people asking questions about stuff? But anyway.
Now, I'm sure if you see this video, you'll have some random excuse to give yourself a defense. But end of the day, nah, man. You're no better than Tommy. It's literally exactly how you know Tommy is as bad of a person as he is. Because it takes one to know one.
No, see that I disagree with that too. That's being too biased. That's me on Tommy's side. That's obvious. That's obvious. That's me assuming that Ian is a fraud. I made the leap, and that's where this video went wrong. That's what I regret about this video, and that's where my apology will lie. Is I'm sorry for being biased and assuming the guilt on Ian instead of asking a question and doing my research on it. Right there proves it. I think I kind of...
And on top of that...
was arguing with myself in my head right there.
We have Ian spouting lies on his podcast with Pat. Well, just take a listen for yourself.
Oh, yeah. I said it in this video. Okay. Nope. Did not call you poor. Never happened. Nope. I didn't do that.
But I can see where that might have come in.
See, this kind of stuff is what really got me going down the road of being pissed at Ian. Is because he gets away scot-free with talking shit about me. And no one questions him because I'm a Pilly Dunk failed YouTube channel. But when I question him, everyone and their mother comes at me like, oh, you can't do that. He's not that bad of a guy. But it's perfectly fine for him to be flippant about me. I guess that's my frustration here. Is it a jealousy thing? It's a reality thing. That's my frustration is understanding that's the reality. Because I alluded to that with Pat. I never called you poor. Which, by the way, when I alluded to that with Pat, that was when I was driving to work. Pat had some flippant comment about me. I don't remember the specifics, and please don't make me do the research on it. But I will pull it up if I really have to. Said something about me in one of his videos, like making fun of me, calling me the shirtless wonder, and I don't care being called the shirtless wonder. He said something about me being an idiot with something. And I was like, he just gets away with saying whatever he wants about me, and whatever. No one cares. No one fact checks him. No one questions it. So I kind of was pissed off about that, and I let that get to me in a video, and I had a buddy call me after I published the video, and he's like, you should have cut out the last 30 seconds when you went on that rant against Pat at the end, because it's a bad look for you. And I'm like, it is. Sometimes I say stuff, and I guess this is the curse of being a YouTuber. You say stuff and you're like, you shouldn't have said that. I know people watch it, they're like, well, I mean, that's how you really feel. That's who you are. That's why we don't like you. And it's like, sometimes it is, and sometimes it's to get a rise out of people. Sometimes it's to be entertaining, and sometimes it's just how you feel in that moment. But it's not actually how you feel when you take a step back from the heat of the moment, from the actual situation itself. And that's something, again, that I need to work on myself. Because I don't talk about you. I don't care about you, Ian. You're a fucking nobody. You're a dude that latches on to Pat, who latched on to angry video game nerd. So true, but sounds extremely jealous. Still true, though. Sorry, bro. That's not me.
Called you poor? It was something along those lines. Like,
nope, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Wrong. Show me something where I said you're poor. Never said that. Well, actually, I should say you were begging for money when you were like hurt or something like that. Yeah. Maybe I alluded to you trying to take money from people. Yeah. I don't recall ever saying you're poor. No, I never called him poor, but I did allude to he's extracting money out of people with what we're talking about here, with his GoFundMe. And if he wants to infer that I said that because I was talking about him doing the GoFundMe thing in the first place, I can't help him. But I mean, if you're gonna say I said things that I definitely did not say, or I mean, yeah, no, I mean I never said it. But here's the thing: I say a lot of things. I'm sure someone could pull something up and be like, "Oh, you said this," and out of context with something else, I'd be like, "No, that's not what I was referring to with it, though." Like, the minutia of all this junk. Or though, but be that as it may, let's continue.
Like he was like insulting me.
Shirtless Shill called you poor?
It was along those lines for not knowing the difference between, I think, like a Lamborghini and a Ferrari or something.
And this is exactly what I talk about here. He's making up a story about me that this never transpired. This was somebody else who was saying this stuff, and he mixed them up with me. And this is what burned me to the point of making a video going after him. And that's not okay. I should have known better, but I didn't know how else to handle it. And I guess there's some hills that you just don't battle on. Definitely not me. Because, to be honest, I'm not really sure of the difference between a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. So, I'm not. Nope. Wrong again. I mean, I know some Ferraris, I guess. I really don't know.
It was a touchstone moment for him.
A fucking touchstone moment for me. And you don't even have the right guy, dude. Fucking A, man. That wasn't me. What the hell? Like, what's that all about? A touchstone moment for me. You're trying so hard to shit on me. You guys are so cocky right now. This is the problem. you get so like cocky and confident that you're right about the Amico that you start taking leaps. This is a leap right here, and you get cocky and you get caught. So that's the thing. I took leaps in this video, and I got cocky, and I got caught, and I got called out, and I got a lot of hate for it. And I'm trying to address that here. Where is the like anybody questioning these guys on the shit that they say? Where is the court of public opinion where they can just make shit up about people, say it, and then like that just sticks? Like that's what it is. No one questions it. No one researches it. No one cares. That's what they say is gospel. Because they were right about the Amico? That's why? I mean, if you're going to say they're right about one thing, so they're right about everything, I got some bigger concerns for you, but here, called out.
Covered that in a live stream about a month ago. And, you know, I was just kind of let it go after that.
I should have.
But to see them keep leaning on Tommy and the team and just going at them every chance they get. And
you know what? They're right to. They were right to. I'm sorry. Jesus. They were right to. You have to remember from my perspective, though, I had Tommy in my ear almost daily, sometimes multiple times a day. We would have conversations on Facebook Messenger, cell phone, texting, calling, Zoom calls, emails. We'd have so many conversations about everything. So, I mean, I had Tommy in my ear every day with this kind of stuff. And again, not an excuse, just an explanation. Something that I definitely am learning from on how to not be that way moving forward. Hopefully. But what are these auto chapters? Don't be cocky. Did Ian Ferguson call you poor? Is crowdfunding? This is impressive. I didn't even know YouTube did this. The problem is Jesus. I'm going to be replaced by an algorithm robot doing these videos soon anyways with this kind of technology. Anyway, let's continue.
Still saying it's not their victory lap. It's just, it's too cocky for me to take. I gotta speak up and say something.
So I feel like that's the wrong angle to be taken. They're too cocky while I'm also being cocky. I shouldn't have taken that angle, that approach. I should have been like, it's a little bit hypocritical that he's doing this and calling out Tommy. But at the same time, I don't know the details. So it's very flippant of me to just throw an accusation of a potential fraudulent act out there when I have no proof of that at all. And I feel like that's where I really went wrong with this. That isn't to say that he's not a fraud, because who knows, he could be. And you can't come at me and say he's not, because you don't know that either. All I was doing was asking the question here and took the complete wrong angle of, because Tommy's my friend, this guy is definitely a fraud. And it's like, no, I can't make that leap. I don't know that.
Like, bro, you're literally just as bad.
No, he's not.
And
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Because that is, again, me assuming that he is being fraudulent with all of this.
and maybe you're in a group of people that will never tell you that. They just pat you on the back because they want to be in with the cool guys. I don't give a shit about that stuff. I'll be straight up.
This is me trying to be a tough guy here.
You make up lies. You confuse people.
He does. He does.
You trash them.
He does.
And you're not accountable for it.
He's not. Still.
I guess that's really it. I don't have some wild revelation to discuss here.
Because I never did any research on it. I have nothing to say beyond this guy's an asshole. I'm so biased against him. Oh. Again, I'm not going to apologize for bringing up a potential concern. I feel like that's very fair in the line of what was happening here. But I am going to apologize for taking the angle of, he's definitely guilty because he's an asshole. That was completely off base, unacceptable, and horrible. And again, stepping outside of myself, watching me, I would not want to subscribe to me either. Oh, God. I see where you're coming from.
Or just kind of more putting Ian in his place, and Pat too, to a certain lesser extent.
No, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with Pat at all. I don't know why I'm just so mad at these guys. I'm just like, I'm trying so hard to knock them down a peg that I ended up knocking myself down.
Just learn how to be humble a little bit, guys.
I mean, I feel like I'm good at that. Look at what I'm doing right now, is trying to be humble while also being me. Understanding that I make mistakes and accepting them and trying to move on from them. But I'm not going to be perfect forever, guys. Like, I'm going to make mistakes in the future too. And I want to be called out for them. Cordially, please. But, yeah, I need to be kept in line just like a lot of people.
Just a little bit. Like, you can be right. You can be confident about it. And you cannot have to be an asshole about it either. It's fine. But just remember that just because you're right about one thing, or even 2 or 3 or 4, doesn't mean you're right about everything. And it's a lesson that I've learned personally over the past couple years. Things change with time. And just be open. And don't be so goddamn cocky. It's so obnoxious. It makes it so cringeworthy.
This is cringy as well. Not saying that they aren't, by the way. This is cringy as well. Inception. Smashception.
To watch and just try to bear with your comments. And I'd like to think at some point someday we can chat.
I've already understood that Pat and Ian are not those type of people where you could just be like, man, we've said a lot of shit about each other. Let's try to move past. No, they aren't. They don't give a shit. They are going to keep spouting the nonsense that they spout. They're going to have the position they are. And if you cross them, you're dead to them. There's no coming back. And I feel like that is a major fault of Pat, especially, where you can't speak ill of him. He'll block you. He'll make sure you don't have a voice on his channel or his live stream. He just doesn't want anyone questioning him. And that's a big problem. I think, honestly, if Pat and Ian are going to accept any feedback from me here, that's one of the reasons that his channel has suffered and been held back all these years. Because I feel like he has the Howard Stern angle, the shock jock guy, but he is not accountable for the stuff that he says. And he's not accountable to listen to improve. And at this point, what's he at? 350,000 subscribers, maybe 400? He should be at like 1.2, 1.5 or more than that, if he was more accountable for his actions. And I truly believe that.
And be cool. But it's going to take 2 for that.
I don't know why I go down this road where I just talk shit about him for 10 minutes. And then at the end I'm like, anyways, you guys want to grab a beer? Because we're both in San Diego. Let's grab a beer. Shoot the shit. Anyway, that's basically the whole video. I don't think I say much more than that. But that's it. That's my take on is Ian Ferguson now officially a scammer? No, he's not. That's such a clickbait headline, nor do I have any facts or information to prove that question anyways. That was 100% created out of bias and frustration for the Amico suffering. Again, pin that on Tommy and the team over at Intellivision, because that's the direction that I was following and hooked on, and I need to be accountable for my actions, and that's what I'm trying to atone for here. So, to the people that reached out to me and gave me your true feelings on me, even though you won't watch my videos, hopefully you watch this, and hopefully I can be better. Okay? If not, okay, I don't really care, because you're not the person I want subscribed to me anyway. If you're not the person that's going to accept an apology and someone just trying to, you know, be real with you, then okay, there's plenty of other YouTubers for you to go watch. But for those of you that are like, hey, here's why I don't watch you, and I want you to be more accountable, I'm going to try to be. And I want you to hold me accountable when you feel like I'm not. I do want to apologize for taking the angle that I took with this video. But again, I'm also going to be real with you guys and not just be forward and be like, yeah, you guys are totally right. This was so wrong and you're right and I was 100% wrong. It's like, no, I look at this and I'm like, I could have handled this way better. I don't regret the question being asked. I regret my angle that I took while I was asking it and not doing the research that I needed to do. I was just angry and it was just blazing a path to frustration, uncontrolled. And you know what? When you make a lot of YouTube videos, sometimes you just make a video and you're just like, whatever, just made a video and published it. Move on to the next one. You never know where the ones you make that are going to stand out, where everyone takes exception with, or a vast majority of people do. So hopefully this covers my current thoughts on it, where I feel like I was wrong, where I still feel like I was in the right on a few things, and I'm going to move past this. Like I said, hopefully that answers the frustrations you guys had. If it doesn't, I'm sorry that I didn't say exactly what you wanted out of me. But thank you guys again for watching and contributing information to the channel, letting me know what you like, what you don't like, the perspectives, the opinions. That's what this is kind of all about, the conversation. So keep it rolling, and thank you again. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing.